Strike. No one's saving those. Hi, Bobby. How are you? You all right?
I'm very good, Mr. Townsend. Hope you're well.
You don't have to call me Mister on this show, Bob, because I'll get stick later on.
Okay, informal.
Bobby, we're here. I've got Carrie, who's also my co-host. Bobby, we just wanted to talk to you about Crystal Palace, obviously being an ex-player, and also I know you was at the game last night as well. Just wanted to know your thoughts on what is happening. I mean, the squad seems to be a good squad. Tony Pulis got them working. It's almost the same players. What is happening down at Selhurst Park?
For be honest with you, Troy, I've been to a couple of games. They started the game great last night. Good tempo, getting the ball wide to Wilfred Zaha and Yannick Bolasie. But there was a big failing point was, for me, the last third. And that's the difference between the top teams and the bottom teams, as we know, in the Premiership. Now, Aston Villa probably had half a chance with the lad Benteke, who scored a great goal. The team spirit's there's no doubt about that. If I'll be honest with you, when I've looked at the games I've seen from last year, Tony Pulis made Crystal Palace a very, very structured, well-organised team, and they were very hard to beat. I think with Neil going in there now, the difference is I think they're playing, obviously they've got Shamak and Dwight Gale up front.
Yeah.
I think obviously they're missing for me Glenn Murray, who I think can score goals for them.
Okay.
And, the first goal in most games, as we know, Troy, is a big, big key factor. And I just felt last night if Crystal Palace had got the first goal, I think you'd have had a different result.
But Bobby, they're playing Aston Villa. Now, if Palace are going to get out of the situation they're in, they've got to be beating teams like Aston Villa, especially at home. Yeah,
I totally agree, Troy. It was a game, but if you look at this season, Troy, they've got beat by Sunderland. They drew with Leicester. The teams down the bottom, Crystal Palace, actually haven't taken maximum points off, which is that could be their Achilles heel this year. I mean, last year under Tony Pulis, they seem to get these results and grind these results out. And at this moment in time, January window comes and the big thing for Palace is the chairman going to free some of the funds up to go and get them a goal scorer that can actually take 3 points and get them some wins.
Okay. Bobby, last week we had Mickey Hazard on the show, and after speaking with Mickey Hazard, we turned Tottenham's season around. We got them single-handedly. We got them 3 points at home to Everton. If you was in charge, what changes would you make to Crystal Palace right now with the current squad? But also I'm going to ask you, if I was that chairman and I said to you, Bobby, you've got what you need to go and make us competitive in January, I want to know what kind of players you would look for. So first of all, what changes would you make to try and make Crystal Palace more competitive?
Well, I think in the moment that they're very stuck in the way of the playing the sort of the 2-3-1 with the two defensive midfield players, Jedinek and Ledley, or last night with the lad MacArthur. I feel that we lack that little creative spark behind the front player. They're trying to play Shamak as a number 10. And obviously when Arsenal brought him in, he was a sort of a box player, getting in the box, scoring with headers and that, and now they've sort of changed his role. I feel that they've got a player in the squad who I don't actually think they've used much, and that's the lad Barry Bannon, who's from Villa.
Yes.
Very creative player, got a good touch, can have got an eye for a pass. I think Neil last night went for, I wouldn't say went for broke, but he started both Zaha and Bolasie, and for the first 15 minutes you're thinking, wow, this could be, a fantastic combination. But as we know, with flying wingers, they can be a bit enigmatic these days, and the end product
Watch yourself, Bobby, there about wingers, please.
Oh, well, yeah.
I'm only joking, Bob. And go on, Bobby, sorry.
I think we're crying out for a left-footed left-back, Troy.
Okay.
We're having some great phases of play, and the lad's Ward, who's a fantastic player, by the way, he's done a great job. He's playing on his wrong side, and whenever we get the ball wide, we're actually cutting back and not actually putting the ball in the box. And
right, okay.
I think we're missing. I mean, we actually signed the lad. I think we probably could have played with Andros, the lad Ezekiel Friars.
Yes, Friars,
He hasn't got a go at all, and which is surprising. They paid, I think it might be £4 million for him, and they haven't given him a game.
Interesting. So, Bobby, I'm the chairman, you're the manager. You say to me, Troy, I need some money. I need to get us out of where we are. I ask you who you're going to buy. You've got maximum of 3 players to buy. Who are you going for that would suit Crystal Palace the way that you want them to play?
You are really putting me on the spot here, Dano. Really on the spot.
Remember, we've turned Tottenham season around already, so we're now looking to turn Crystal Palace around.
Where do you find the 20-goal striker, Troy?
Right,
at the money that Palace are going to pay, and you know they've got Glenn Murray out on loan. Do you go and get someone in the Championship of a Gary Hooper type?
Yeah.
You know who's got a sort of a proven record, albeit up in Scotland. I do feel they need a striker because we're a striker. I like the lad Dwight Gale. I think he's a goal scorer, but I don't think he can play up on his own.
Right.
I think he needs a physical presence with a sort of a Benteke type player. You know, they had Cameron Drome there last year who took that kind of that buffer off him, but he's not a goal scorer at this, you know, as in that level. And I still think, you know, I think they've got the lad Jelinek, who I think is a fantastic player in terms of what he does for the team. I think they need someone to maybe complement it and go and join in and actually get 6, 7, 8 goals. And obviously Joe Ledley didn't play last night, which was a miss for Palace because he can chip in with his share of goals as well, Troy.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're saying to me, I'd like to get an attacking midfield player, have some ilk with a bit of quality, you can spot a pass, but ultimately you pay your monies, and a centre forward is the big factor for me to keep Crystal Palace up this season.
Brilliant. Yannick Bolasie, who's a friend to me and is exciting everyone at the moment. I mean, his performance against Liverpool was first class. Can Crystal Palace keep hold of him?
That's an interesting one, Troy, because he's got the old X factor where, for me, on his day, he can put anyone on the back foot.
Yeah.
To get yourself into a top 4 team, you have to score goals. You know, if ultimately, you know, even with Andros, the one thing why he came to prominence, he's a goal-scoring winger. You know, and if you look at Bolasie and even Wilfred, you know, Wilfred got that great move to Manchester United. If you look at it, the scoring stats, you know, they don't score enough goals for wide players, and I know they're the types who get down. But you know, I would say Bolasie, where you put him in at, you'd put him in. He could get into probably most of the top 12 teams on his day, you know,
most
because he's got the thing. He can beat people on the outside. He's both-footed, and he's exciting.
Okay, Bobby, that's Crystal Palace. And just briefly before we close, what is happening with you? What are you doing with yourself nowadays?
Well, as you know, Troy, I've dipped into the murky world of agency stuff with
I'm glad you labelled it murky, Bobby. I'm glad you did.
Listen, our company's done fantastically well over the years with the likes of, obviously, you know, Bradley Johnson, Colin Kazim Richards, Stephen Reed, Elliot Bennett. We've had some real success stories. We've gone down the route of, with the younger players, Troy, it's very hard these days because a 19, 20-year-old now, where's the pathway for them? There is no pathway these days. Whereas, you know, I was lucky having played with you guys for so long, and I've got a chance at Crystal Palace, and I went straight into the first team within 6, 7 months. That's a fairy tale story these days. But that side of it's taken up a lot of my time. And then now we've got a very successful football academy, as you know, and you know, hopefully we're going to get a game against Mr. Townsend's Redbridge team at some point, which will be interesting.
That'll be brilliant.
You know, we've got some games coming up. We had a very good couple of games at AFC Wimbledon, and we went down to Brighton and played Brighton and Arsenal Elite, and we were absolutely fantastic down there. And similar to yourself, Troy, we play football in the right way, and listen, I've known you for many a year, and I know that you'll always preach the way that that's the game's going to be played. I'd also like to say that Paul Robinson said to say hello to you. Because,
Paul Robbo, fantastic, brilliant.
You know, brilliant. Still look after him. You know, we took him to the club at 15, and with your help, you know, we nurtured him, got him back in playing.
Fantastic.
A success story. You know?
Well, with your help, Bob, we'll probably try and get Robbo on the show soon as well, if that's okay.
That would be good. That would be good.
Bob, it's been an absolute pleasure as always talking to you, and we'll stay in touch. But thanks very much for talking us Crystal Palace today, and I'll be looking at the result. This weekend to make sure that...
I hope you do realise, Troy, they're playing your team.
I do know that as well, so that's why I'm going to look at the result to see which one of us is the better manager. Thanks very much, Bobby.
I really appreciate your time.
No worries. Thanks very much. Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Strike. No one saving those.